Okay, there was a report of a grass fire at about 12:34 p.m. the Scott County Dispatch. They immediately dispatched Shakopee Fire, and that time it was reported to be on Oxford Road South, which is in the area of Deans Lake. It burned around Deans Lake, to the north, the south, and the west, or basically around the entire lake. We estimate that it burned approximately 100 acres. Some of the neighborhoods were evacuated as a precaution, but they've all been allowed back in at this time. There is one intersection that's still blocked, and that is at Eagle Creek Road by Deans Lake Boulevard, and that's to allow fire trucks and emergency vehicles to get in and out of the area. Departments that responded include Shakopee, Prior Lake, Savage, Eden Prairie, Chaska, Chanhassen, Jordan, the Department of Natural Resources, United States Forest Service also responded. Law enforcement agencies that were involved were Scott County Sheriff's Office, Shakopee Police Department, and the State Highway Patrol. At this time, the cause is still under investigation. We suspect that it was a recreational fire, or a brush fire that got out of control, but we're still trying to determine.
Do you know why you said a brush fire that got out of control? Does that mean somebody, it was an accident, basically?
That's what we think.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and how did that start? I mean, what was this person doing? Or?
Basically, the resident was in the backyard burning some brush and leaves and got out of control with the wind we had and the dry conditions that are around this area right now.
Chief, can you talk about the dynamics of all the people that were in the neighborhood and how you guys had to move them out and evacuate people?
Pretty much the fire was moving pretty rapidly. We had to pretty much secure the scene and start moving people as fast as we could. The fire started moving towards the houses in Southbridge on the Oxford side, and then the winds shifted on us and started coming towards the west over towards Dean Lake, so we had to kind of regroup and get everything pushed over to the other side. And at this time we've had no damage to any residents.
What's the situation right now?
Right now we're in a basically a rehab situation. We're regrouping. We are going to go back and do hot spots. We'll probably be here for another 2 to 2.5 hours knocking down hot spots in the area. But the main part of the fire ring is contained around the lake.
What's the biggest challenge to schools, residents?
Well, the biggest challenge that we had was fighting the wind. The wind kept changing on us, and we didn't want to lose any houses. So our biggest challenge was to make sure that we saved all our residents.
It looked like it got pretty close to some of those houses. Do you know how many homes were in danger?
At this time, I don't have a good number. If I had to put a number on it, I would say it was in the neighborhood of 25 to 30.
It looked like you were working 3 or 4 different fires at once. Was it that many?
Basically, we had 3 command structures set up. We had an Oxford, Deans Lake, and then a Deans Lake Road. So we had 3 different fires burning at one time, and they all seemed to be traveling at a different direction because of the wind. It just seemed to be turning down there, and it would go one way and then the other way, so we wanted to make sure we had all our residents safe.
Any message from all this to people? I mean, I've told this is one of the busiest days around the state.
Well, pretty much it's dry out right now. Emergency management probably could give us a better handle on what the situation is.
I would say that people need to be very cautious about burning, outdoor burning, whether it's a recreational fire or burning brush or trash. It is very dry in the area right now. I'm not sure if the DNR has issued a burning ban at this time. I haven't had a chance to check on that. I believe they haven't been close to it, but that's something that the DNR would have to answer. But I would say please limit your outdoor burning until we get some rain.
Anybody injured? Anybody problems?
Not that we're aware of right now. There's always the fatigue factor. These guys work pretty hard out there. As far as we're aware of, there's no injuries or casualties.
Just for accuracy, it was a permit to burn, a controlled burn. Was that how it happened?
Basically, in the city of Shakopee, you can have a recreational fire that's 3x3, so there was no permit on this. We'll do our investigation and see what actually caused this.
What side was that? Was that on the Southbridge side or on Deans Lake side where that home would have been?
It would have been on the Southbridge side. Oxford Road South is where the fire started.
Okay.
Pretty proud of of your guys. They did a nice job today, knocking that down, saving some homes and property here.
Yes, I am very proud of my firefighters and the firefighters that assisted us from other agencies. They worked hard and did a wonderful job for us.
Yeah, at one point, I mean, were you ever concerned that, hey, we may lose some?
Well, that was always our biggest concern. I actually arrived to the scene a little bit late. My district chief was handling the call until I got down here. Ran most of the situation for me, but yeah, it was our biggest concern was losing the house, and that was not something that I wanted to do on my watch.
One of our concerns.
I don't know for sure. I'm guessing that it could be, or they're still probably trying to extinguish some of those spots.
There was a piece of equipment we saw from the sky, which was like mashing down the brush. What device that is?
It's from the DNR. I don't know exactly what they call it, monster masher or something. They got a good, funny name for it, but yeah, it does a nice job. Maybe we can put one in our budget now and get one.
So how does it attack?
It's basically a all-terrain vehicle on tracks. It can run through the swampy area. It floats. It's made out of an aluminum tunnel. It can go right over the water, and they basically run the fire line and knock down the brush in front of the fire, and then they go back and attack the fire. It actually makes a fire break as they're going.
That's the DNR vehicle.
Correct.
Did you have any issues with evacuating folks? Did that go pretty smoothly?
Yeah, we had no problems with residents. They cooperated very well.
Can I get both of guys' name again? I was rolling late when you guys.
Rick Coleman, fire chief.
Chris Weldon, Scott County Emergency Management Director.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Do you know a helicopter at all involved?
They did order a DNR helicopter. I have not seen it arrive yet.
I do think, yeah, I think that eventually it did show up on scene, and one of the incident commanders was able to get up in the helicopter to see the
State patrols.
state patrols. Okay.
Could either of you guys comment on how this may have affected some of the traffic up on 169? Did you see or hear anything that was slowing traffic down?
We had no accidents up there. We had no concern that nobody called us and told us there was any problems up there.
Heard that somebody told me it was like about 10 feet from 169 northbound. Did you get any calls about that from the drivers?
No, our dispatcher, once we were in the area, they won't page us out again because they know we're in the area. So.
Do you know how close the flames would have came to the highway?
I have not been on that side of the road.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Good work.
Okay.